Oh, hey, thanks, Apple. I hate it. I will give you $10 if you subscribe right now. That's actually not true, I lied. But subscribe anyway and turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next episode. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Front Page Tech, FPT, Froopity Toop. Of course, the show that gives you all this tech news from one geek that is me to another that is you. I see quite a few of you noticed some changes in the last episode, asking if I got a new camera or new lights, and the answer is yes and no. Well, kinda. I'm pretty much upgrading everything in the studio in preparation for Season 10 of Fapata. The lighting has been upgraded, the mic has been upgraded, and a new camera is on the way because Season 10 is going to be in 4K. So yeah, you might see some changes. You might start seeing me test stuff as stuff comes in. Who knows? Maybe I should do a studio tour for you here soon, just to sort of show you around, show you how an episode gets made, that if you care, like, only if you care. I'll make it. Let me know in the comment section below. Is that something you want? Right now, though, you want tech news, so I'll give you that. Alrighty tighty. So first up for the day, story numero uno. Let's talk about Google, specifically the foldy one, the Google Pixel Fold thing. Do you remember when stories were floating around that Google had canceled the project? It was only a few months ago. Anyway, here's what I had said about that in an episode at the time. We've had reports recently about the Google Pixel Fold device being canceled, which, by the way, to my knowledge, is not actually canceled. But either way. So what happened was, the original source of the story, Ross Young, he's a display analyst, and he had seen that the original order for displays had been canceled, and therefore, project canceled. And that was a hot story. And since then, everyone just sort of assumed that it was canceled because Ross Young, his accuracy is crazy. It's like 100%. So if Ross Young says it, it's probably true. But I have repeatedly been trying to say that as far as I know, my sources are saying behind the scenes at Google, the project was not canceled. It was never canceled. But of course, it's me against Ross Young. That brings us to just a day or so ago. Ross Young tweets updating his original report, saying it's back. Google's foldable Pixel will start production in Q3 22 and launch in Q4 22. So there you go. Not canceled. Yeah, I'm sure there were delays behind the scenes, things got pushed off, but this is exactly why I kept trying to say, despite the rumors going around, that the project was still being worked on at Google. It was still a priority for them, and they didn't just give up on it. Behind the scenes, this is something that they have been working on just as much as other hardware projects. I am still worried about this, though, because Google just now figured out how to make a decent regular phone, let alone a foldy one. The Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro are seriously so good. But I guess we just have to sort of cross our peonies and hope that the Pixel Fold is just as good. But either way, the point of this story is, all that matters right now is that despite the multiple reports that this project had been canceled, that Google had canceled the Pixel Fold device, I kept trying to tell you that it was not canceled. And guess what? Not canceled. You know what that means, right? I have ascended! I am no longer here to tell you about the news of today, but instead, the news of tomorrow. So you got some extra money. Cool. The first thing they tell you to do with your extra money is invest it. Be smart. Invest the extra money. Except what if stock market is volatile right now? That's why this episode is sponsored by Masterworks.io. Masterworks gives everyone, not just high rollers, the chance to invest in famous art, like pieces from Picasso, Monet, and Banksy. Why art, though? Well, art has outpaced the S&P 500 from 1995 to 2021 and has almost no correlation with stocks. Is it legit? Yes, Masterworks is the first company to offer paintings backed up with the same Securities and Exchange Commission as public offerings. Is anyone doing it? Yes, again, over 300,000 investors have already signed up. And there is sort of a wait list right now, but don't worry, because you're watching this show right now, you can skip the wait list. If you go to masterworks.art/FPT, you can skip that line and get started today. Again, that's masterworks.art/FPT. And of course, a huge thanks to Masterworks for sponsoring this episode of Fapata. Oh, hey, welcome back. Okay, so last up for the day, story numero lasto. Let's talk about M2 MacBook Pro. Oh, just let me die. So we've been hearing reports that we'll actually be getting the brand new M2 MacBook Pro earlier than expected. We're seeing reports that it'll be coming next month at Apple's virtual spring event. Which, by the way, real quick, the head of Apple's brand experience shared this image, which sure looks like they are currently filming some outdoor stuff for that event. So there you go, Apple event confirmed! Anyway, yeah, that should catch you up. We are hearing and we are expecting to get that brand new M2 MacBook Pro next month at the event, but according to this new report, it is not gonna be what we thought. To preface, this leak is coming from the same guy that told us that the redesigned MacBook Pro from late last year was going to have a notch. Sort of last minute, he said it was going to have a notch and everyone sort of laughed and then boop, there it is, notch. He was the only one who said it and it happened. And now he has chimed in about that M2 MacBook Pro. And he said that it's actually going to feature the previous design, meaning like it's going to look the same as the M1 MacBook Pro, complete with a touch bar and everything. So we are looking at 13 inches, touch bar, no notch, and no ProMotion display, which, I mean, come on, that should not be shocking. Now, I know I joke and everything, but this kind of makes sense. We got to remember, this is technically the lower end model. Apple does want to differentiate between M2 and M1 Pro and M1 Pro Max variants. And keeping the design the same also helps cut costs in manufacturing. The only part of this that does actually shock me is the whole touch bar thing. The fact that they took this away from the high-end models was something that I thought all of us like universally agreed upon, like that is a good thing. And then to just sort of walk it back and put the touch bar on the lower end model, what? That just feels weird. But again, if this happens, I really think they're doing it in order to keep those manufacturing costs down and also keep the price down for you. I think people fail to realize how supply chain actually works. By keeping the same old design, Apple can keep manufacturing lines roughly the same. They can use all the old parts and machines to build this Mac, and by not having to fully restructure all of that, it keeps the manufacturing costs down. That's the main reason why the iPhone SE is so cheap, because at this point, it costs Apple like $0 hairs to keep producing a design that came out in 2017 with iPhone 8. They don't have to change production lines, they don't have to make new machines, it just exists and they can make it forever. But wait, it gets interesting because Marcus Germantis, well, he believes that it will not have a touch bar. So maybe, possibly same old design, but with no touch bar? Which one will it be? Who will be right? It's Marcus Germantis versus the guy that said a notch was coming to MacBook Pro and got it right that one time. Okay, but for real, I still, if I'm being honest, I still do feel weird about this. Not the design, that's whatever, but the fact that this is a thing anyway. I just feel weird about an M2 MacBook Pro. Like, I feel like we should just have MacBook Pro, right, with M1 and M1 Max, and then for M2, just MacBook Air. There you go. I don't see why we need this weird in-between device that is an M2 MacBook Pro. My real question is why and for who? Why does this exist? And for who does it exist for? What? M2 MacBook Pro? More like M2 MacBook no.